Hey everyone, so this is my birth story. Hopefully you're not on here if you are pregnant or susceptible to feeling quite triggered by things that didn't go quite right. I've ummed and ahed about doing it, not because I feel pressure to do it and then you think, should I do it or shouldn't I? It's just whether it sits okay on my platform, but actually I think it does, because I think it's very important, which my mum highlighted, to show that it's not always as rosy as what things seem to be, I suppose. So it didn't go very well, and Christian's been quite unwell recently, and we're under the impression that the birth and how traumatic it was actually triggered his illness, because it's stress related, anything like that, kind of like stomach ulcers and different things. Whether it is that or not, I don't know, but interestingly, a few people contacted me to say that they'd experienced like a traumatic birth and they got similar symptoms and have been quite poorly after it. I hadn't even thought of that really, I just sort of thought of myself, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, so I had baby Teddy 5 weeks ago now. I'd been on a walk in the daytime. I was 40+1. We'd done like a hill walk, and I just felt like I was in control of everything that was happening. I planned to do a home birth, but also planned to go into hospital. So a bit of a push from the midwife to do it at home, because the last home birth was fine. And I did want to, but people around me didn't want me to, because I'd been in 3 times into hospital with bleeds and cramping and things like that. So I'd been in and I hadn't been in before. So I had that sort of like underlying anxiety about it, and we'd moved 20 minutes from the hospital, so couldn't get there obviously as quickly and stuff if needs be. So yeah, I'd done the walk. I'd actually done it twice, the same walk that day. So my parents had come over for tea, and then we'd done it with them again in the evening. And I was niggling a bit. My contractions didn't really start though until about 10:30. Yeah, so contractions started at 10:30. Came upstairs, filled the pool up. So this is at night time. Filled the pool up, was all in control of it. So I was pacing, I was walking, so I wasn't doing any phone calls or anything. Christian was in charge of filling the pool up and contacting the hospital and everything like that. So I was pacing my contractions out, and I would say, you know, they bring you gas and air for a home birth. You can't use it though until the midwife arrives. So yeah, we're upstairs, 10:30. He ends up phoning the hospital. I don't know if it was at 11 or 12:30. He knows better than me. I think he said it was 11:30. Just to say that my contractions were like every hour and a half, and they were lasting for 30 seconds. They weren't getting worse than that, and they weren't tailing off at all. It was just constant, and I was just walking. And I was just counting on my phone, you know, that's all I was doing really. Just thought, this is going well, really. Little did I know. And they were phoning him back, I think, just saying that they were contacting the midwives and someone was going to be with you. I think the midwife who was coming phoned him and said she was on her way. I don't know if she told him then she was coming from Runcorn or further afield, I should say, maybe. But she was coming from a further distance, really. So, yeah, we waited for the midwife to come. So I'm pacing out. So, yeah, I'm just in the zone. I'm just going to... I can't say that the contractions are so intense that I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to have it right now or anything. I thought, right, I think it's now time to get in the pool. So that was maybe 1:45, 10:50, I don't know. Anyway, so the midwife on her way phones up, can't find the house. And I've just got in the pool. It might be getting like closer to 1:55 now. So Christian leaves the house. So I've just got in the pool, and the contractions dropped then from 1.5 minutes for 30 seconds to like just, I've eased it off by going in the pool. I didn't have gravity anymore, maybe. Anyway, he leaves the house and only the baby starts crowning. So I'm screaming out because I didn't know where he'd gone. So I'm absolutely terrified that I'm going to give birth without a midwife or my husband. Sorry, I'm definitely unwell because I'm just not sleeping at all because Christian's been so unwell and not been able to help me. So he's out the house and I'm absolutely petrified in the pool. Oh my God, I can't even tell you how terrified I was. And he's looking, I don't know what's happening, so I'm shouting him, but I'm right at the back of the house. He's obviously out the front and passed onto the road, and he's trying to look for her. He comes back in, and I'm shouting like, the baby's coming out. So he shouts to the midwife that the baby's coming out. So the head's out by then, I think. But I'm absolutely stressed. So I didn't get another contraction. Nothing came for like a few minutes, and I feel like the head was out, and so I was shouting to the midwife that the head's out. So then it all hell breaks loose. Then like I've got to get like dragged out of the get out the bath, the pool. Then I'm like pushed down onto the floor, and I'm just like lying on like Flo's pram. I'm on a dog bed. I'm also on like in the corner like the baby's bouncer and stuff. It's all like surreal. I can hardly remember it. I just remember on the phone, the hospital. So the midwives are in the hospital, and they're just shouting like, "Do you need an ambulance?" and this, that, and the other. Because the head must have been out for too long, and the contraction just didn't come. But I swear down, it's a stress response because Christian was out of the house, and his midwife wasn't there either. And our children are downstairs as well. So if anyone's thinking, why don't you just go to hospital in the first place, then I didn't know what to do. Like 10:30, 11, who'd you phone? Then everyone's in bed. I mean, and they're 20 minutes away. So what if I would have had the baby in the car? I don't know. I felt like I didn't have time. Anyway, so. No second midwife arrived. No one else came. Or someone should have come before her. We didn't know that because she was further away. So there should be one who turns up initially, I think, first. And they couldn't get hold of her. Apparently she didn't know she was on call. So I just got the one midwife. So then she's got my knees up, I think, and she's pushing my stomach to get me another contraction. The baby comes out. The baby's not moving really or crying or anything, and it's purpley kind of colour. So Christian's having to revive the baby, essentially. You know, like you see on TV when they're rubbing it. And then the midwife's rubbing the baby, I think. I mean, it's a massive blur to me. I have to say, like, I was in absolute shock that either I was going to give birth without anyone there or it had all gone to pot, really. It wasn't remotely relaxing or great at all. So the baby's out. Now the baby makes a noise, thank God. Yeah, so that's okay. So the baby's made a noise, but and then I'm getting checked then, you know, for tears and all that. So I've got a 2nd degree one again, which I've had before. And it's horrific getting checked. I mean, the midwife who turned up didn't bring the mouthpiece for the gas and air. So I didn't have any gas and air. Not that I needed it during my labour, but I would have liked it at that point then. So then I need stitches, which I knew would happen anyway. I prepped the sofa actually because you need to like put like puppy pads down and sheets and stuff. So I go over to get stitches. My midwife hasn't got her suture kit. So she has to drive back to the hospital to go and get it. And then they collect other things as well. So she needed a vitamin K signing off because you need 2 midwives for that because the second midwife still hasn't responded or they can't find her, I don't know. And she needed the SATS monitor. So she's gone back to the hospital to get those things. So it's like 1 hour, I'm waiting then an hour, and it's 2 till 3, I think. Yeah. And then I was stitched up for 45 minutes it was. But I had my gas and air, she'd gone and got the mouthpiece as well. So I had the gas and air mouthpiece then. But I can feel it now. Like I don't know what had happened, like why it was so bad. It was awful, the stitching. So then the SATS monitor didn't work, so the battery wasn't checked in the hospital, or the fact it wouldn't turn on. So I'm then actually, bizarrely, you won't believe this, I'm up after giving birth, and I don't know if I've been stitched up. I must have been, yeah. I'm going downstairs, I'm rummaging in the cupboards because I've got a SATS monitor for work. But it didn't matter because it's an adult's one and you need like a tiny one for a baby. But yeah, I mean, God's sake, like what the hell? So yeah, so that didn't work. So then it was a case of like, I'm going to have to come back. So I said, no, I'm just declining, just document that I've declined you to come and test his SATs, which I don't know, I mean, whatever. I mean, he's all right now, but probably wasn't the best idea because obviously he'd come out like, not really, I don't know if he wasn't breathing, but he wasn't screaming and, you know, I feel like that is when they're not breathing. So, yeah, so we ended up going to bed at like 4. But it all seemed to be, oh my gosh, the dog's knocking the video, horrific. And today is a day I can talk about it because I don't feel like I'm about to die from being sleep deprived. Sorry, it cut me off there. But yeah, today is a day I can talk about it because I'm not sleep deprived. Yesterday, I mean, I've cried so much. obviously you need to cry, you need to talk about it. And I want to just say, to finish off this video, that contact your GP, because they'll put you in contact with counselling services and for cognitive behavioural therapy or counselling or psychology or whatever it is that you're going to be deemed appropriate for. That was really good. Spoke to the GP one day, had the referral through via email or text the next day to follow a link to then say that I wanted it, to then book your appointment in, and it's a phone consultation for 45 minutes, so that'll tackle the mental health side of things. And to be honest with you, this time, after the third, I'm healed like physically really well, but obviously the mental side has been not great at all. And yeah, we've got to have a debrief with the hospital as well, which I've requested. I think the midwife advised it anyway. My midwife came round the next day, the week after, sorry, just to go through things and what had happened and maybe like the reasons why, and just explain a few bits and bobs and maybe like fill in a few gaps for me. But yeah, the debrief is going to help with that significantly, and it'll help Christian a lot as well, hopefully. So we're just waiting for the appointment from that, and that's normally 6 weeks after you've had the baby. So yeah, just so you know that that's what you can have. I'm sure there's plenty of other things as well, but that's where I'm starting, just with sort of like the healing journey of it all. But yeah, I hope that you're all okay, and it helps someone, I hope, along the way. But yeah, okay. See you soon.